Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Gaming Zone. I'm Chriz, aka the Mole. This is James Pheonix.
Hello, everybody.
And today he's going to be reviewing Spyro Reignited Trilogy, I believe it's called.
Correct. Um, I'm
Your
sorry. Go
mic
ahead.
is weird.
Your mic sounds weird too.
Yeah, like yours sounds really weird. Like yours sounds like it's internal.
No, I'm definitely. Yeah, yours was sounding that way too. It must be a Skype audio glitch.
We're not on Skype.
I'm sorry, Hangout audio glitch.
No, but once you click that button, you suddenly sounded fine.
Okay, so it must have reset itself. Anyway, yes, the Spyro. Sorry about that, folks. Technical difficulties. The Spyro Reignited trilogy, which just came out on PS4 about 3 days ago on Tuesday.
And Xbox One and Switch, I believe.
I knew about Xbox One, didn't know about Switch, but that's cool.
I knew the Switch one at least got classified. I haven't seen whether or not it's on there.
Okay. Well, that's good. They're spreading the love around. I bought it on PS4. This is, for those that don't know, in the same vein as the Crash Bandicoot Insane trilogy that came out a while back, where it is a remake of the original 3 games in the franchise, in this case, Spyro, obviously. Those being the original Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, and Spyro Year of the Dragon. Um, obviously, the main appeal of this is that the graphics have been completely redone from the ground up in order to be PS4 level graphics as opposed to the blockiness of the PS1 from 20 some odd years ago when that came out. And I gotta say, the game is beautiful. I will state I've only played the first game on here so far because I wanted to play them in order, so I didn't get to 2 and 3 yet. But I have to imagine it's more of the same. I will state the graphics look beautiful, and I like this because it's similar enough that you know what you're doing because it is the same game, but with how different the graphics look just by being so upgraded, and in particular how different the characters look by being upgraded, you actually at times feel like you're in a new game, and that's really cool. In particular, in the first game, those of you who have played the original Spyro the Dragon might remember that one of the primary tasks was you had to go to the different worlds and free the dragons who had been encased in crystal by Nasty Nork. And each of the dragons you freed would give a little voice clip, and it would do a little motion thing, and then it would kind of disappear, and your progress would be saved. What I like in this one is that in the original game, all the dragons, yeah, there were different heights, and some were heavier, thinner, but they were all at colors. There was some variation, but they all seemed really similar. Whereas in this one, they went out of their way to make Spyro's world actually seem more like an anthropomorphized world as opposed to a land of a bunch of dragons who happen to stand on their hind legs. Like when you free dragons in this one, it's not just, oh, there's a dragon. It's, oh, there's a dragon wearing a chef hat and an apron and holding a cake. Oh, here's a dragon holding an easel with a paint thing like he's a painter. It's like all the dragons look like they're unique and they have jobs that they're doing things. And I think that really is cool because it makes it feel like the world exists is in more, a realistic, if you're going for anthropomorphic dragons, it more fits that theme than the previous version and the original version of the game did.
Yep. And I will say for people who played this on PS1, they did throw in a little retro feature where the game will only save your progress if you have a USB device plugged into the PlayStation.
No, do not confuse the innocent people.
Like a memory card.
Yes, old school. But yeah, no, there are 3 save slots built in here, so you can presumably that's one for each game. So if you could do more than one for one game, but then you wouldn't have one for another game. So
Fun fact for you as well with memory cards.
Yep.
Which is just a funny little one I mentioned to someone the other day. Like, oh God, yeah, it's true. You don't think about it until someone says it. Do you realize not one memory card from the old on average from the old PS1 wouldn't even hold an update for most games nowadays?
Yeah.
When you think about it, because it's like 30 something megabytes, if that, for that little drive.
Yeah, they were tiny. Good times.
And then the PS2 ones were even bigger, and you're like, oh, this is so cool. Then suddenly you went to PS3, and you're like, yes, we don't need them anymore.
Yes. Look, I did like the convenience of memory cards in that you could take them to your friend's house and have your save files, though. That was helpful.
To be fair, you could do that on PS3. And technically, you can do that on PS4.
Well, yeah, if you upload all your saves to the cloud and then download them on your friend's system.
Yeah, which takes 2 seconds or so.
True.
That's what Crispy kept doing when we were playing Diablo. He
Oh.
was coming over here, load his save in on his profile, so we got all this stuff, get more stuff here, trade it all to me, go back home, use his save there where he was up to where we'd got up to, and to play through on his own and get up to where we were, so I kept getting more stuff.
Nice. That's a good idea. But yeah, overall, the gameplay is about the same. They really haven't changed that. You know, you can jump, you can glide. There's mostly platforming. You can fight monsters with a charge attack or a flame breath. The fire breath looks really cool in this one because it's not in the way it was back then, where it was just and it looked like just like orange, a bunch of orange lines shooting out. In this case, it actually looks like fire, so that's cool. And yeah, I feel like the updated graphics and the fact that the characters seem more like characters just based on their appearance, even though the voice lines are the same as far as I can tell. I think that really helped make it feel like more like a more well-developed world. Like you get like I'm excited to play more because I want to see, oh, what is this dragon going to be? What's that dragon going to be? What is this world going to look like? I think that's really cool. And that was one of the things I always liked about Spyro 2 Ripto's Rage, is that each world had its own unique inhabitants and that they had different things that they did. So I can only imagine that in Spyro 2, with the updated graphics, they're going to look even more like they belong in their respective worlds and even more like they have their little jobs. And I think that's going to be great also. So I'm really looking forward to playing 2 and 3. So if you're a fan of Spyro the Dragon from PS2 or in general, I do recommend picking this up. It's only $40 on this side of the pond anyway, which means it's probably 35 quid for you.
Yeah, it's pretty cheap.
Yeah, so I definitely recommend grabbing it if you're a Spyro fan. It's worthwhile just to see the updated graphics and be able to play through a Spyro the Dragon game and not want to gouge your eyes out. Because I'm sorry, PS1 graphics look terrible by today's standards.
Yep. The one thing I'll say with that is if you're a newer Spyro fan, I would avoid it.
Yes, if you've primarily played Spyro through Skylanders, this is a very different version of the character.
I don't just mean that. I meant I've played with kids who have played they played Crash Bandicoot on Wii, or they played Crash Bandicoot in the Skylander stuff. When they go back to the original ones, because the layouts are the same, it's very primitive compared to what they're used to now, and they got bored with it before they even got to a level. Turned it off and went and played on like Fortnite or something.
That's true. I can agree with that. I think Spyro's a little bit better with that, if only because the Crash Bandicoot's levels were very, very linear, to the point that you're running down a very small path and jumping on things and doing things. Spyro is, yes, linear, but it's at least a little more open world where you can go to this side over here and that's it over here.
It's open world, but when you look at like the items and stuff, and even the people who made it said they went to great detail to make sure the enemies and items were still in the exact same place as the original.
Mm-hmm.
When you compare a PS1 open world game like that to, say, I don't know, Lego DC Villains from today that kids would be used to from platforming, or Mario Odyssey from today, I don't think kids today will get into it as much because it's still very dated, if that makes sense. It's not, there's nothing bad about that. It's for older fans. These are for fans who like the original.
Yeah, and that does make sense because, unfortunately, being that it was PS1, video games, especially platformers, were just very different back then. So it makes sense that would be a kind of game that kids today are not accustomed to and which they might not find appealing. But if you are a fan of the old Spyro games, if you're in our age range, maybe a little bit younger, a little bit older, and you like the original PlayStation Spyro games, I definitely recommend picking this up. It's well worth the money just to enjoy the beautiful new layouts and to be able to re-experience those games again like they're brand new. Well, not like they're brand new because you know where most of the stuff is, but to see how beautiful they are and play them on PS4 and be able to experience them in a whole new way. And I think it's very worthwhile. Yeah, it's like I said, it's Spyro. If you like Spyro, play it. That's pretty much the summation of this. But the graphics are great. They did a wonderful job updating the graphics. Everything looks three-dimensional. It doesn't, look like they just added textures to things. They completely redid everything from the ground up. Everything looks like, it belongs. The waterfalls look realistic, and the grass is swaying, and the platforms are redesigned so they look like natural placements and stuff. It looks really good. They redid the animations for when you go in and out of a level. It's still Spyro flying through the void, but he's kind of flying in a little cool new motion. The background looks a little more fluid with it, and the little loading levels in between going into a world are a lot, quicker because you're not depending on a processor from PS1 anymore. So you can actually get into the levels a little bit quicker, which is nice.
Nice. I will ask, just because I know they did that with Spyro, and obviously, sorry, with Crash, and I don't know how much they would have done the same for Spyro. But then again, you might not know because you might not have played, because like you said, you haven't played through all of them yet.
Yeah.
Have they left anything off?
Not that I've seen yet.
With Crash Bandicoot, they left one of the more difficult levels off, and then brought it out, and then they added it later as DLC.
Oh, which one is that?
Can't remember which one, but you can look up which one was DLC, and you'll find out which one it was.
Oh, that's interesting. I'll check that out.
I don't mind, because I'll be honest, I never found Spyro or Crash to be that good a game. I bought the original one. I'm like, oh, okay, it's okay, but if I want a 3D platformer from that generation, Mario 64 still holds up today. Those ones don't.
That's true. Yeah, to be honest, I got into PlayStation 1 purely because that's what my parents randomly decided to buy me for my birthday or whatever the hell it was. Like, I didn't have any input in it. Here's a PlayStation.
Also,
I'm like, okay.
Also, hashtag, where's my Gex remastered?
Yeah, there you go.
Where's my Croc remastered?
Yeah, I got fucking Croc remastered on this shit. There you go.
I'm kidding. Croc and Gex were horrible. Spyro and Crash were better than those.
Where's my PS4 Frogger?
We have it.
Oh, do we?
Probably. They did a PS3 one where it was Frogger remastered, and it was like a 3D Frogger.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, cool.
But with Croc and Gex, they were actually played like Spyro and Crash.
Right. All right. So, yeah. I mean, overall, I said, being a fan of the original 3 Spyro games, I give this a high rating. I mean, I love it. 9.5 out of 10. But if you're not a fan of this incarnation of Spyro or this kind of gameplay from back then, if you're younger or just this kind of, like in Mole's case, this kind of platform didn't appeal to you as much as more like a Mario 64, then this might not be your cup of tea. And even though it is only $40, it might not be worth it for you.
Oh no! Like I said, I have the Crash trilogy, and they did a good job with it. I was just saying, for younger kids, or young fans that didn't know it as well, they weren't taking as much leeway with it. Like some of the puzzles when you're doing them, you're like, this is so basic. I'm okay with that because I'm used to the original. Mm-hmm. Same thing when I played Resident Evil 1 remastered. I will say the graphics on Spyro and Crash could be a lot better. I feel they don't look like PS4; they look like PS3. Is what I feel, but that's just me. But like they don't look as good as say Knack that was made for the PS4.
That's true. Knack is a good game, by the
way. But when it comes to like Resident Evil, the Resident Evil remastered, I'll be honest. When I saw it remastered, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. This is how everything looked. Then when I looked back, when I actually went and looked at the original afterwards, I'm like, it didn't look like this. It looked like shit. Because when you're playing as a kid and that's the best graphics you've got, you don't think, oh, look at all how dated, like you mentioned with Spyro, look at the lines of red coming out. You had to think, holy crap, he's breathing fire.
Yeah.
It's only years later when you look back, you realize how outdated piece of shit that was.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why it's like, and that's why when the first picture came out of the first Spyro, the Artisan Homeworld of the first game, and I saw the picture, I'm like, oh, that looks really good. It looks just like the original. And then somebody actually had up a comparison shot, and I looked at it, I'm like, oh wow, that does look bad. Okay, wow.
You know what game really needs remastering?
What's that?
The Grinch from PS1. It's the perfect time with the Grinch coming out. Just change the model to the new Grinch. Well, I'll say.
I own that game. I freaking love that game.
I'll admit my favorite PS1 game will never get remastered.
What's that?
Sheepdog and Wolf.
Nice.
It's so shit because no one ever was like, yeah, that's so great. I was like, I loved that, and I loved Hags of War as well. That was, but I used to love Spyro.
Yeah.
I never really liked the PS2 ones as much. I like the PS1 games, which were those trilogy. I think Skylanders was way better. I loved the Skylanders series. I still got them on the Switch, but it's a case of but I didn't like the in between era, the PS2 era. Yeah, when they came out, I was like, eh.
Right.
Not sure which era was your favorite.
It's hard to say. I mean,
I know you haven't played the Skylanders era. But you can totally watch it now on Netflix.
I can totally. I've always, because it was the first era, I've always really liked this era, but I respect the epicness of the story of the Legend of the Dragon trilogy also, because they got in high level voice actors for that were known actors. Spyro got free flight. The graphics were beautiful. And that was a really good trilogy also, and so I respect that. That even though that was a completely different Spyro continuity, it was still a good continuity. And I like the build up in that trilogy where they built you up. It was one continuous story through all three, and really built you up to the final boss at the third one. Which really, when I got to that in that game, which I should review that trilogy at some point too. I really felt like a culmination of all Spyro games, even though it was a separate continuity. So I thought they did a really good job with that too.
Oh, like I said, I wasn't complaining it was a new continuity with the PS2 ones. My problem was, while they had an okay-ish story, the gameplay wasn't too much improved. I felt, compared to the PS1. There was a little bit of differences, but at that time on PS2, we suddenly had stuff like Sonic Adventure out and stuff like that just blew this out the water on PS2. And it's like, when it came out on PS2, it was like, okay, you got the story. Did you forget to add new gameplay and make this fun?
And to be honest, the two PS2 Spyro games barely had story. The first two. And Enter the Dragonfly, which was just absolute fucking garbage, and Hero's Tale, which was slightly better. That's why that pretty much killed the franchise. I said, okay, we got to reboot this shit, and that's why they came out with the first in the Legend of the Dragon trilogy.
Yep. I think one of them introduced Cinder. I did like Cinder.
Yes, that was the first one in the Legend of the Dragon trilogy. She was actually the villain in that game, and then she became your ally in 2 and 3 after you defeated her and kind of cleansed her of the dark control.
Yep, and she's in Skylanders.
She is. And so is a Dark Spyro, apparently.
Yeah, Dark Spyro is in there.
Yeah.
Dark Spyro was also in one of the games, but I can't remember which one.
Okay.
In one of the old games, you used to be able to do a cheat code or something, and you used to be able to play as Dark Spyro.
Oh, nice. But anyway, yeah. So that's pretty much a summation of my review. If you like the original Spyro games, it's certainly worth checking out for $40. You're getting 3 games for that price. That's going to give you a decent number. I mean, it's over. They say it's over 100 levels to explore. Granted, they're not particularly long levels, but it's great for nostalgia and being able to see how beautiful everything looks now. If you're interested in the old Spyro, I might recommend renting it, give it a shot if you haven't played it before, because that way you could try it, and if you decide not really your cup of tea, you didn't waste $40.
Yep.
If you're interested in Spyro at all, it's worth at least renting and trying out a level or two. If you decide you don't like it, that's fair, but I think it's at least worth giving it a shot just to see where Spyro's origins were. I think that's kind of fun to explore, even if you don't like it. All right. So, with that, Mole, I remember, are we doing another review here today? Because I know you talked about possibly doing one.
I already told you we weren't. There was no to bring it up on air.
Oh, I didn't remember you telling me that. Okay.
I literally told you pencil it in. If I had got the game, I'm planning to do a review of it later. When I got it, I'll do it. And then last time we won voice, I told you I haven't got it. I probably won't be doing the review.
Okay, I don't remember that. Fair enough. My apologies. At any rate, then, stay tuned for great reviews here on the Gaming Zone, and of course over on Pez of the Mind. Great stuff coming up. Check out Spyro if you're a Spyro fan.
Yep.
Peace.
Peace.